So, welcome everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. So, we will start. It's 9:02. I think good time to start. So, yeah, I think the first thing we'll start with taking the vows one by one. I think each one of us, if we can, not many of us are here, so it's good we can each take one by one the vows. All, yeah. Who would like to start?
I'll read, Monica.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitude of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Who wants to go next? And it would be nice, if each one, whenever we are reading, we can revive. So even if you have read the verse, when the other person is reading, feeling each line as if it's read for us, would be really a good revival. So anyone who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yes, please. Yeah.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all the beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Yeah, thank you, Jayashree. Anyone who wants to go next?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll
yes,
go.
yes,
Uh,
Nandini.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Thank you. Yeah, who wants to go next? Those of us who are able to unmute and talk, please go ahead and do your round.
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
go.
yes, Ritu.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Would anyone want to go next?
Yeah, I'll read Monica.
Okay. Yes, Shamiji. Yeah.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, Rinku, would you have the capacity to unmute and read?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Thank you so much. So, thank you everyone for reiterating and reading it out again and again for all of us. And just to let us know why we do these vows, why do we take them again and again, what is the base they are coming from. So these are called the Bodhisattva vows, and a Bodhisattva would be a person, a being who want to walk the path of enlightenment, attaining self-realization or knowing who we truly are, not for his own liberation, but also knowing that if we know ourselves truly, if we walk the path of self-realization or enlightenment, or coming more and more closer and understanding ourselves, in other words, then we are not only able to benefit ourselves, we are also able to benefit others. So I'm going to walk the path. Why? Not just for my own sake, because I see that in our ignorance, just like me, so many beings suffer. So it's like you see the collective suffering, you see your own suffering, and that's why you want to walk this path, which is a treacherous path. It is difficult, it is, requires a lot of effort, courage, and yet I want to walk the path. Why? Because I know it's a beneficial path. So that's why we again and again remind ourselves of these lines. And again, when we remind ourselves of these lines, and if I want to be a lamp in the darkness, so I cannot remain dark. If I want to be a lamp in the darkness, then I will have to leave my darkness aside, and also to understand my darkness deeply, that my darkness is nothing but a hidden light. So the more closer we come to ourselves, the more we disidentify more and more with our surface ups and downs and always entangled, the more we disengage from them, knowing that it's not benefiting me and I want to benefit myself and others, then we are able to have this courage again and again. Things will happen, situations will happen up and down, many difficulties will happen, but I will have a choice in every moment not to engage in the darkness, not to engage with the so-called ego consciousness, and stay as the witness, stay a bit away, have myself, with a, there is a breathing space between thoughts and flow of feelings, and then I'm standing looking at them. I'm not every time just entangled in them. Then I can be a resting place for the weary, because we know how we become weary. We become weary because we get too entangled and lost in the drama of life, too lost in our roles that we play. And if I want to be a resting place for the weary, then I will first have to stop being weary myself. Why? Because I want to benefit myself and others. So again, one can go on and on, referring again to these lines. So today came across something. Been heard it before also, but I thought I'll share it with you, all of you. So I don't know if some of you have heard of Milarepa. So Milarepa was a very long time ago, a Buddhist master, and there is this song that there was a teaching, he was teaching a disciple, and this disciple, the lady, the girl, she was asking him questions, and then he responded. So they have made a small little kind of a 2-3 minute song on that answer that Milarepa gave. So first I'll go through the questions, and then I will share the answers and also the audio that goes with the song. So she is meditating. She is trying to tame the mind, bring the mind to awareness, stabilize her stance as this open awareness. And she's asking question. Please listen, and these questions are in a poetic form. Please listen, precious Jetsun. Please hear me, sublime Nirmanakaya. It was easy to meditate like the sky, but I felt uneasy when training with clouds. So clouds can be referred to all that comes and goes, our thoughts, storylines, feelings, and all that. She's saying that when I want to meditate on these flow of thoughts and feelings, I feel very uneasy. So it was easy to meditate like the sky, but I felt uneasy when training with the clouds. Now, please give me advice on training with the clouds. It was easy to meditate like the sun and moon, but I felt uneasy when training with planets and stars. Now, please give me advice on training with planets and stars. It was easy to meditate like the mountain, but I felt uneasy when training with bushes and trees. Now, please give me advice on training with bushes and trees. It was easy to meditate like the ocean, but I felt uneasy when training with waves. Now, please give me advice on training with waves. So, waves would be, whatever is manifest, whatever we see going up and down, like our thought flow, our feelings, stream of feelings, body sense perceptions, storylines coming and changing and repeating, in loop. So, the manifested is the waves. It was easy to meditate with the mind, but I felt uneasy when training with thoughts. Now, please give me advice on training with thoughts. So, this is Milarepa, and he has this hand around his ear because he listens to everyone's sufferings. So if you have any problem, if you have any difficulty, if you have any suffering, you can share it with Milarepa, and that's why he has this ear, hand around his ear, that I'm listening carefully, share with me. So now he answers, and this is what we are going to listen the song afterwards. Listen here, you lay girl Paldarbum. Listen well, you rich and dedicated maiden. Since it was easy to meditate like the sky, the clouds are the sky's magical display. So let them be as the very state of the sky. So usually when our mind is too entangled in the thoughts and feelings and the things that burden our mind. So he's saying that yes, it was easy to meditate on this open awareness. There is just presence of awareness. It's very easy. But when we see the thought flow, the feeling flow, we become disturbed. And he's telling her that no need to get disturbed. Just see these thoughts and feelings as they arise and disappear as the play of the sky itself. So they are not different from the sky. It's just a appearance that appears very dark at times, light, and all that. So the clouds are the sky's magical display. Let them be as the very state of the sky. They are the sky. They are nothing else but the sky. Since it was easy to meditate like the sun and moon, the planets and stars are the sun and moon's magical display. So let them be as the very state of sun and moon. Since it was easy to meditate like the mountain, the bushes and trees are the mountain's magical display. So let them be as the very state of mountain. So he's saying that don't look at bushes or trees as something different from mountain. They are the mountain. So don't get disturbed looking at just the appearance. Since it was easy to meditate like the ocean, the waves are the ocean's magical display. Let them be as the very state of the ocean. Since it was easy to meditate with your mind, the thoughts are the mind's magical display. Let them be as the very state of your mind. So, if even for once we sit with looking at our thoughts, we see they arise and then they disappear, and then anger arises, then it goes away, then some blame arises, then it goes away. So, where is it going away and where is it arising from? That's the natural state of mind, which is called, in other words, either emptiness or open awareness. So, in awareness, they arise, in awareness, they go back. Like waves arise in the ocean, they go back and fall into the ocean, merge back in the ocean. They are not different from the ocean. So he's saying that thoughts or feelings, all the storylines, don't think that they are something different and don't get too engaged with them. They are this empty awareness. From there they arise, and from to that it goes back. So let them be as the very state of your mind. And this is what we are going to, just maybe 2 minutes, we are going to listen to, almost a meditative listening, and then we'll begin with the verses today.
I can climb the sky, but clouds make me uneasy. Milarepa, tell me how to meditate on clouds. If the sky's as easy as you say, clouds are just the sky's play. Let your mind stay within the sky. I can contemplate the sea, but waves make me uneasy. Milarepa, tell me how to meditate on waves. If the sea's as easy as you say, waves are just the sea's play. Let your mind stay within the sea. I can contemplate my mind, but thoughts make me uneasy. Milarepa, tell me how to meditate on thoughts. If your mind's as easy as you say, thoughts are just the mind's play. Let your mind stay within your mind.
Clear Trip Big Travel Sale. Get the best festive deals on flights.
Yeah. So then we'll go to the training, mind training. Yeah, so would anyone want to go first? We can just take turns and Again, when we are reading, it would be nice when we read it with full awareness, knowing what we are reading, and alongside reading, we are also taking it in. So anyone who wants to read first?
I can start.
Yes, please.
The supreme understanding is to realize the meaning of selflessness. The supreme spiritual discipline is to tame one's own mind. The supreme great quality is altruism. The supreme oral instruction is to observe the mind at all times. The supreme remedy is to know that nothing has self nature. The supreme conduct is to be in disharmony with the world.
Yeah, anyone? Thank you, Shweta. Anyone who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yes, Ritu.
The supreme accomplishment is a continuous decrease of disturbing emotions. The supreme sign of accomplishment is continuous decrease of wishes and wants. The supreme generosity is non attachment. The supreme ethical conduct is to pacify one's mind. The supreme patience is place. The supreme effort is letting go of activity.
Thank you. So maybe the last bit. Anyone who wants to read the last bit? Okay, I can also read if not anyone. Okay, Shamlaji, you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Shall I? Okay. The supreme concentration is not altering the mind. The supreme wisdom is to not grasp onto anything as the self. The supreme spiritual teacher is the one who exposes our hidden flaws, and the supreme instruction is the one that helps us to strike at those flaws. The supreme companions are mindfulness and alertness. The supreme inspiration is enemies, hindrances, disease, and suffering. The supreme method is to be natural. The supreme way of benefiting is to help others enter the dharma. The supreme benefit is a mind that runs toward the dharma. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamlaji. So today we have to take up this one, verse 17. The supreme companions are mindfulness and alertness. So, we always keep on talking of we want companions in life, we either want one companion or maybe several companions. And when the companions are not there, we are missing the companions at times. So here it says, I think, good point to reflect upon, that supreme companions are mindfulness and alertness. And the amazing thing is that they are there with us 24/7. So we don't have to feel lonely because we have these companions. Now, the task is to understand these companions and how to take the journey forward. So we are going to listen to the teaching by Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, and then we can share our reflections, if any, or say maybe share questions. On the verse 17, the supreme companions are mindfulness and alertness. So I'm going to just put the teaching up.
Oh, we're getting on beautifully. Look at this. The supreme companions are mindfulness and alertness. So here, he is, these two aspects of the mind go together in Buddhist parlance. In Tibetan, they're called Trempa and Shejin. Trempa here means the ability to be aware, to be conscious, not only of our mind, but of our body and our speech, just to be present. This is a very important quality. It's nowadays in psychology also, it has become a very important practice for people with psychiatric problems. I mean, the whole magazine, psychiatric magazines are devoted to mindfulness. It's the new buzzword. In Buddhism, mindfulness has many, many connotations and is much more than just merely being present and aware. But for now, we'll keep it at that. Along with that ability to become more conscious of how we are in the moment, is this other quality which is untranslatable. And therefore, every translation has a different take. You have to know what the word is to know what they're talking about. Here, they call it alertness. Some people say introspection, some people say clear comprehension. There are many different, nobody has the exact term. And you can always tell when there is not the equivalent in English because every translator tries a different word. There just isn't quite that word. So, but what it means is simple. What it means is the ability to check up what the mind is doing. Somebody described it as spying on the mind. You're just looking. It's a quality of the mind which, while we're meditating, is also very useful. It comes up and it looks. How's it going? And if there is anything which needs correction, for example, the mind is sinking and becoming very sleepy, and often this is a big hindrance in meditation because people can get into a kind of somnambulate state and think that they're meditating. You know, they feel very peaceful, they never want to move. But actually, there's no clarity in the mind. There's no spark in the mind. The awareness is completely sunk. And so it's like a half sleep. This is called sinking. The opposite, which we know, and in some ways is less dangerous because we can see it's a problem, is the mind being very distracted. That we all recognize is a problem. But this other sinking mind could be mistaken for going into deep meditation. It's very important that in meditation, the mind is not only relaxed, but extremely alert. It's like waking up. It's not going to sleep. And so the mind should be more clear, more aware, more absolutely bright, while all the other faculties of the mind rest and stay quiet. So therefore, this Shejin aspect is the one that checks up. It perks up, looks, sees what the mind is doing, how's the meditation going. Depending how the meditation going, it will adjust until it's back on track again. Then it subsides. It's not there all the time. It's just that, I mean, being there all the time would make the mind too tense. But it just looks, sees, if everything's okay, everything is going well, then it just dissolves back again. If things are not going well, we're sinking, or we're really too distracted, then it will apply the antidotes. So these two go together at all times, not just when we are meditating, but as much as possible during the day, we should try to really bring our whole life into the focus of being mindful, of being conscious of what we're doing. The Buddha himself had 4 levels of mindfulness, starting with the body. That includes breath. So, and it also, the very, very start that the Buddha recommended was to be conscious of our posture. So therefore he says, when we are standing, we know we are standing. When we are sitting, we know we are sitting. When we are walking, we know we are walking. When we're lying down, we know we're lying down. So very basic, what is our body doing in this moment?
So I'm going to just take a pause here because maybe it will be long and don't want to miss reiterating a few important points. So one thing is one can ask the question, I mean, what's the point? Why should I be aware I'm sitting? Why should I be aware I'm walking? Why should I be aware, oh, I'm distracted again in my storylines? Why? So would anyone want to share on that? Why would I do that? I mean, that question can come. It appears maybe from far off, it appears boring. Why would I do that? Yeah.
Maybe to know that we are alert. I mean, we are living life. I mean, when we are alert and we know something, then only we feel that we are living, right? It's not that, not in sleep mode. Just to know that what we are doing.
To become conscious of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else? Does this question come to you? Why would I do that? Yes, Ritu.
Yeah, another thing can be most of the time we are either in the past or in the future, worried or tensed or grieving. So being in the present brings us back and makes us realize that the present is more important.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else? So I think what Shamla ji and Ritu shared, that almost, it's like gives us a very big window to look at, because masters have said that when we are lost in our thoughts, we are actually sleepwalking. We are not alive. But why we feel that that's life for me, always being lost in my storylines and thoughts? Why? It's just an old habit. Because I'm habituated to sleepwalking, I think that if I'm not sleepwalking, then I'm not living. While all the storylines, all the past and future, as Ritu was sharing, all that is a dream actually. It's not true. It's not true what we are thinking. Whatever we can interpret through mind, it's nothing. It's just a speck of dust in front of what truly is the larger picture. Our very problem is that we believe that my thoughts are right, my story is right, my opinion is right, and that all this big construct in my mind, which I have my own, my own mind has created it through thoughts and again ruminating and regurgitating on those thoughts. This construct is a false construct. It is not truth. That's why I keep on missing the truth when I am lost in my storylines. That's why I must, as you were sharing, bring back the mind to the here and now. Okay, what is there in front of me? A cup. I have to pick up the cup. Simple, keeping it very simple. Having a very, having an affinity towards a simple and a light mind. Nowadays, we are used to a very complicated and agitated mind. No, we all know the condition of our minds. It can't remain simple. Why? Because it has become habituated to remain entangled. And it thinks if I am not entangled, then it's a dull life. Why? Because it's just an old bad habit. So, this is a new habit that I have to cultivate, to have a simple, light mind and just being fully there in the present moment. Okay, what do I have to do? Okay, I'm walking, let's walk. But usually, when we are walking, we are not walking. The legs are just doing this mechanical movement, and we are, as you were sharing, we are lost in our dramas, and those dramas have no reality, because everyone has a new story in their head. Now, a same situation in same family, say 10 people in the same family, one situation, there will be 10 different stories about the same situation. We all know this. Who is true? Perhaps all, or maybe none. So we keep missing on the present moment when we remain too entangled in our storylines, thinking that what I am thinking is right, what the other one is thinking, that's wrong. And the other one is thinking the same thing. What I am thinking is right, what other ones think it's wrong. So everyone wants to be right, the others are wrong, and we are always at clash with each other. There is never any true peace, true harmony in our relationships. Why? Because we are just too entangled. Forest of thought, too entangled, forest of feelings. So the idea is, why should I practice or cultivate mindfulness? Because now I value my life so much. I value this temple so much that I want to keep it clean, neat, and tidy. So, clean mind, simple feelings, very simple, uncomplicated, and a light body, light-hearted, and a body which is very supple, which knows, okay, when I have to walk, then I have to walk, when I have to get up, then I have to get up, when I have to sleep, I have to sleep. So, keeping things very, very simple, light, and uncomplicated. And why would I walk the path? Because I know it benefits me. I have suffered and tortured myself enough. And not only it benefits me, having a simple, light-hearted being, we benefit each and every one around. That's why I would do that. So developing this new taste for a light, simple life. Our tastes are too bad. We are too used to oily, sticky, too fried, over fried food. For example, the food that we give our minds. So now we have to develop a new cultivation, has to be done, because it's that food that I've been eating for years. Has that been serving me well? The question that I ask. Having such a complicated mind and entangled affairs all around, does it serve me well? Does it serve anyone? If not, let me change it. So one can say that, in other words, spirituality would be uncomplicating the life. As Mother says, becoming like a child of the divine, simple, light-hearted. Now I'm not used to getting too much entangled in here and there. Now I've left that far away. And I know that when I walk this path, I also benefit others with my lightness, not only myself. That's why I want to practice mindfulness, because it keeps me light. It gives me fullness in life. Those of us who practice even for a bit, just being fully here and now, and knowing all the things that go in the head, nothing but a dream. Actually, it's a dream. It's not concrete. So the masters have said this state, when we are lost in thoughts and feelings, it is called a dreamy, sleepy state. We are not alive. We can only be alive when we are fully here. The mind is home in the body. Mind's true home is in the body. When we are home in the body, then we are alive. We are connected with the bodily sensations, with the breath. I know I am home. Now I am rested. I am home. When the mind is lost in feelings and thoughts and ideas and dogmas, then it's not home. And how do we recognize it's not home? We suffer. All of us suffer. So suffering is my red signal, beep, 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 out of home. And then I bring myself back to the breath. Mind is home. So just because I want to, I know how beneficial this path is for me, I would put the effort of mindfulness, being mindful of what I'm doing. And if I get distracted, then I'm mindful, oh, gotten distracted. Come back again, bring the mind home. If I'm getting lost in thoughts of past, oh, gotten into past again becoming conscious, as Shamlaji was sharing, and bringing it back to the breath, to the body. So I'm meeting a person, but I'm actually not meeting a person. I'm lost in the thoughts of that person. So noticing that, being mindful of that, and bringing the mind back home again with the breath, being here in the now, not in the thoughts. It makes our life very simple, light, and also gives it a lot of richness, fullness, that one day is, wow, a day lived fully. That's why I would do it. And we all want fullness in life, don't we? All of us want. So this, because we don't know what is the next day going to be like, whether we are alive, not alive, who knows? So this day, can I be just fully alive? So mindfulness can also be a way of being fully alive, not half dead, half dreamy, half sleepy, and not giving our thoughts, opinion, ideas that much of seriousness, being very simple and light-hearted like a child is. He forgets. So forgetting what my ideas are about this or that thing, don't, not taking it too seriously. And mother talks about it. Mother says that when you see that something is becoming very serious and grave, just notice it and drop it off, because then I'm sticking to some opinion, some idea, some thought of mine too tightly in my mind, too rigidly. That's why we become too serious. Children are not that serious. If we see little children, they're very light-hearted. Even if they may have a fight with somebody, they'll forget it and become light-hearted again. So like that, the mind has to be like a sponge. Something comes, some impression, then it becomes again full. Something comes, again full. Not like wet cement. When somebody storms and just the impression stays forever. Yeah. So it's out of love towards myself that I want to make this effort of mindfulness, cultivate this practice in myself. Yeah. Anyone, anything to share in this moment? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead then. If not, we'll listen to the full teaching.
Then this also includes the breath. The breath is a very good aid to our mindfulness because we are always breathing. Normally, we are not conscious of breathing. It's one of those automatic functions that just goes on. But the moment that we bring our attention to the breath, we are present. Because as I said yesterday, we can't breathe in the past or the future. We only breathe now. So the moment that we bring our attention to the breath going in and out, that moment at least, we're present. So this is something which also, when one is driving, when one's walking, when one's doing any activity, there can also be this consciousness of the body and this consciousness of the breath. And then the second one was to be aware of the sensations. This is the Goenka. Any of you might have taken a Goenka Vipassana course. He focuses on the sensations in the body because normally we are not conscious of how much energy there is actually constantly in the body and how much feeling. So going from the soles of the feet to the top of the head and then back again, this sweeping through the body to become conscious of the energies, the vibrations within the body. So this is the mindfulness on sensation. The Tibetans tend to be more interested in mindfulness of the mind. And so this is what they emphasize, is being conscious, aware of what is happening in our minds while it is happening. Normally, as I say, we are quite unconscious. We just get swept along by our thought stream. And we are identified with our thought stream. All our thoughts and feelings and ideas and perceptions and so forth. This, we identify this with who I am. And so in order to begin to loosen that very false identification, we need to develop this quality of mindfulness or awareness of the thoughts so that we see thoughts are just thoughts. They're not me, they're not mine. They're like bubbles, you know, very bright, very shiny, but plink, empty. Why do we solidify them and make them so as if they were something permanent and real? When we all know that moment to moment to moment, it's just a flow. So we need, again, to develop this quality, not only during our meditation, but at all times that we can remember to do it during the day, to become awake. What is going on in the mind in this very moment? How is the body positioned in this very moment? And gradually, gradually make ourselves more and more conscious. Because much of our time, however hard we think we're working, the stress comes not from the task that we are doing, but from all this other stuff which is going on in the head at the same time, that we're trying to fight our way through to get ourselves concentrated on what we need to do. That's what's stressful. Our minds are really totally out of control. And we're the slaves. I mean, imagine the one thing which we take with us everywhere we go is our mind, even when we're asleep. And yet we don't know our mind. We're the slaves of our mind. The mind is often very mean to us and says all sorts of nasty things to us that we would never say to anybody else. So it's very important to really, if we want to live happily in this world, to really get to know the mind, understand the mind, and become the masters of the mind, so that we have a good companion to travel with. Wherever you have come from, you come here to the Bahamas, but you've still got your mind, same old mind. We can go to Mars, we take our mind with us. You know, I mean, so it's, since we never can escape from our mind, it is very important that we have a mind that is a pleasure to live with, at least that much. Then we can feel happy. But for many people, their mind is their worst enemy. Then they get depressed, of course.
Yeah, so that was the teaching on verse 17, which we were taking up. And I think what sharing again, continuing from her teaching, what we have to do again day to day, whether we are sitting or not sitting, we have to stabilize ourselves in the witnessing stance. When we stabilize ourselves in the witnessing stance, who am I? I am the one looking at this thought of jealousy. Who am I? I am the one looking at this feeling of sadness. I am not sadness, I am looking at. So then we create a breathing space between whatever the movement of Prakriti is, the thoughts, the feelings, ideas, opinions. And who am I? I am the one who is looking. So initially in our practice, this first we are like this, like we are one with the sadness, we are one with the happiness. And then we create this breathing space. I am the one who is looking, the awareness, it looks at the manifestations, come and go and come and go. Then we have a choice, then only we can have a little bit self mastery that, it's not helpful. And I have listened to these dictates many a times. I can let it be. So you don't listen to then whatever is unhealthy. You let it pass. Now you have a bit of control over your mind, thoughts, and feeling. Earlier, when I'm like this, there is no control. That's why Mother also says, or equanimity or this witness poise, the Sakshi Bhav in Hindi, as we say, that's the beginning of our sadhana. If I have even a bit of this distance, then only I can see the things arising, and if they are negative, unhealthy things, I can let them go. I don't have to believe it. When I believe it, I am fueling it. The more I believe in unhealthy thoughts, I am fueling an unhealthy life for me. Right? So when unhealthy thoughts and feelings come, what do? I am the witness. I am looking at it. I don't want to believe it. I've done that enough. So you let it go. Rejection, aspiration, and then rejection. You aspire for a purified life, and then whatever is the dirt that arises, you recognize in this witnessing stance as the dirt, as the filth. Just like we clean our homes, we know what is garbage, what is to be kept, not to be kept at home. We see, and whatever is unhealthy, we remove through rejection, aspiration, and then rejection. Because this is a temple. And if we, as Sri Aurobindo says, that if we wish to install a divine presence in the temple, it has to be kept clean. And who will know what is clean, what is not? Of course, I will know. We all know. When we become conscious of our thoughts and feeling, we very well know which one is a goodwill, true goodwill, and which one is full of this mixture of selfish demands. We easily recognize. So whatever is selfish and more complicated and tangled, I leave. I let it dissolve back into emptiness. And whatever is healthy, I cultivate those healthy seeds in me. Then I begin to take care of myself and become my best companion. Yeah, so any reflections, any questions, anyone? All right, feels like good. Be all clear.
Everything understood.
Yeah, I know. We are like that, One day we have full clarity, and the next day we are gone again. Yeah.
Understood but follow.
Yes. Totally with you. Yes. Yes, Swapna, you want to share something?
Yeah, I was just noticing, like, it seems so obvious, right? Like, to cultivate the good seeds. And so I was asking myself, like, so what is it that, when I'm not doing that, basically believing my negative thoughts or something complicated, because often I notice something negative is also quite complicated, right? So it goes against the simplicity rule, because like we were just saying a moment ago, it seems so obvious in this moment. Yet why is it that I would believe then, and why is it we forget, you know? And it seems like in those moments, like Jetsunma Palmo was saying, thoughts are just bubbles. But in those moments when the complicated, or for example, earlier today, I was worrying about something around my health. You know, I have a lot of health issues suddenly. And it seems not like a bubble, right? It seems so full and it seems so serious, and it requires my attention, and it requires my intelligence to work it out, figure it out. And that's often the case. Whatever seems to, that isn't a positive light thing, it seems in those moments, it's impossible to think of it as just a bubble or something that's not real, right? And so I was just, yeah, just noticing that and just bringing kind of the reality of that part to the table too, you know, of in those moments how to then remember or remind myself, like, no, wait, don't believe this, it's just a thought. Or yeah, to stay light, or just have trust and faith in the mother. Because I even had those thoughts, you know, like, no, trust the mother, mother is protecting me, I'm going to be okay through all this. Yeah, it's still a very interesting dilemma, this being human.
Totally resonate with that. I think it's a long journey, that's what one can say. And the other thing is, we have to put effort. The problem I see with us is that when the times are okay, when I'm not that much suffering, when the diseases are not there in my life, I become too lax. All of us know that. We become too lax. We enjoy the pleasures and, you know, all the good happenings in life. We don't care to remember, bring the mind to our breath. We are just enjoying life. You know? And we don't realize in those so-called goody-goody moments that we parallelly are entertaining a lot of mental constructs and stories. We are unconscious of those constructs. Now, in good times, of course, nobody wants to walk the spiritual path in good times, usually. That's how most of us come. We come to spirituality when we are suffering. Now, when the body begins to manifest something into a disease, suddenly, to when it has become so big, I can't usually, I'm talking about usually it's not very easy to bring the mind in the present moment. So suddenly the cultivation would not change, because what I have been practicing being lost in my thoughts. Earlier, the thoughts did not bring me suffering. Now suddenly the thoughts have translated into feelings, feelings into body, and the body has manifested something. Right? So suddenly, as if there is a fire in my house. Now, again, it's a habit that I have been cultivating, which I was not conscious of. What is the habit? The habit of remaining lost in my mental constructs and believing that yes, they are true. But so far, since they did not bring me that much of misery, I was okay. Now, when they have brought misery to my body, now it's a serious matter. Now, what do I do? Same process have to be taken even now. The process is same. We have to stop believing and buying into the stories and feelings in our head, and we have to bring the mind in the simplicity of present moment. Whether I start now, whether I would have started earlier, it's the same thing. Same thing. But the process and effort is full. So it's not going to be easy on me now. Somebody would say, oh, you are frail and weak in the body. I'll give it to you easier. That doesn't come to us. We all have to practice. Somebody was asking, Oprah Winfrey, she was sitting with Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was like very simple, light and illuminated. And Oprah asks that, how do you do that? Why are you like that? And he simply said, that's what I am trained in. So we have to change our training. And why would I do that? Because now I see how much it's making me suffer. It has started inflicting situations on my body now, physical consciousness. So body, actually, because we ignore the stress in the mind, stress in the feelings, now somebody has to wake me up, no? How does the universe tell me that I'm following the wrong way? Wrong way in the sense, not being kind to myself. There is no wrong way in that sense, but not being kind to myself, being engaged in unhealthy mental constructs. What is it giving me? So I'm not listening to stress in the mind. I'm not listening to stress in my emotions. How does the universe tell me? Through the body now. Had I just heeded the first one when it appeared, unease appeared in the mind, and I'm so sensitive, my Richter scale, that measures earthquake, it's so sensitive that the moment a little bit of stress arises, I become alert and I see, okay, what have I done today? What thought have I believed in today that I'm so uneasy? And there itself, it's dissolved. I've hit at the root. So I don't carry it in the next day. But what happens with us is we don't question. We are not very sensitive to ourselves. So we carry that unease in feelings and thoughts for a long time. Now, poor universe, how does it tell me that I am not following the right thing for myself? The body. So the diseases in the body mostly are, now even science is telling, they are psychosomatic. And you have the power, because see what power you have. I have created a physical illness for myself. What power I have. Look at the power. No science can do it what my mind and emotions have done. So now, knowing that I am so powerful that I have created this physical manifestation of, say for example, taking my example, cancer in me, I also realize that I am so empowered that I can also uncreate and dissolve this manifestation. How? By working with my mind and feelings. So if I take it this way, then it's empowering. That if I have created it, I also have the power to dissolve it and recreate something new. So I would, go with that highest possibility. If I were you, I would go with the highest possibility. Now we know, mother is holding our hands, Sri Aurobindo is holding our hand. Now we know the path to take. Now who is stopping me to have a simple, uncomplicated, light-hearted life, and then work with my physical selves, physical consciousness, and invoke light, grace, and divinity in them? Who is stopping me? Who is asking me to have a still entangled and complicated life? Who? No one. No one can force me if I don't want it. So that's why, to take charge, full charge of your life. Now this is the last signal that body gives in the physical, that hey babe, please be kind to yourself, something like that. Please don't do so much of torture on yourself. Otherwise, how would it tell? What ghanti or what, knock knock it has to do to tell me? Yeah, makes sense,
You know,
Swapna?
yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. And I guess because I'm used to having, by her grace, very good health, at least biological, physical health, right? It's been good. Then my mind just goes to, okay, I've heard that emotional life, stress has a factor to play in ill health, as in physical ill health. Yet I go, is it really that I created all of it? I mean, a part of me goes, where, like, yeah, where does that come from? That like you said, even about your cancer, right? Like you created it. And I'm like going, where did you get that from? How do you feel? Like, is it really that you created all of that? Or is there some aspect that's just, I don't know.
Yeah. So how would you know that you created? How would I know? I would know when I look, that outward look that I have, I'm always looking at other people, other situations. The moment I turn the microscope within and I look at the quality of my thoughts, I look at the quality of my feelings that I'm having throughout the day, you would know that you have created it. Nobody has to tell you. You would know there is a power in us, all of us, which knows what is pure, and that power, the very same power, tells me what is impure. That's how you would know you have created it. I knew, nobody told me. I knew, something in me knew that look, these are the thoughts which are so unhealthy that I am harboring. These are the feelings which I am again and again identifying with, this limited sense of self, me, my story. That's what I am engaging with, and that is making me unhealthy. We all know, we all have that knowing. That's what is called consciousness. And consciousness is coupled with force. So when I become conscious, truly conscious, I also get empowered. Chit Shakti, Sri Aurobindo talks about, we have the basis of existence is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat is eternal, truth, eternal. Chit is consciousness, and Sri Aurobindo and Mother talk about Chit Shakti. Consciousness is coupled with force. And then we have Ananda, true bliss, true joy. So whenever we become conscious, we feel very empowered because we have the responsibility. Now I have created it, I can dissolve it. It brings us power because consciousness is coupled with force. And you would know, if you truly, really want to make whatever disturbance now is happening in the physical front, it can be a very beautiful ladder for you to transcend the limitation of this limited mind. If you can use it that way, it's a very golden opportunity, I would say, because now it's urgent. When it comes to the physical level, then it's urgent for me, as you said, that I'm used to having a good, fit, healthy body, and now even if a little bit disturbance is there, it's disturbing me. Now you will be compelled to take forward any steps which are required to maintain an inner sanctity, which you were not able to take earlier, for example. So it can be a very good opportunity.
Yeah, I can totally see the opportunity of it all, and I agree with almost everything you're saying. And I still go to, I guess, because I haven't fully looked at that aspect, right, of how my thoughts and everything manifests into physical illness. Then I go to, well, if they, I guess a part of me is still holding some corner for, but isn't it just some imbalance in the physical? Just something wrong with the cells or something wrong with some one part that affects the other part, and it's a vicious circle. Because if what you're saying is true, then, for example, great beings, they would never get sick.
No, but that's a different
Right?
story. That's a different story. And again, then we would go to all these karma that is there, prarabdh karma, sanchit karma, that there are karma. Even if I am a jivan mukta and I have attained some degree of enlightenment, there are past deeds which have to occur, which they get fruition in this life, and that I have to undergo. So there I cannot compare. So I think that there are two different aspects,
I
and
see.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very huge thing, and we'll not be able to cover it in this session.
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
simplest possible way that I can take it is that, okay, even if my mind and feelings are healthy, let's say that they are healthy, and maybe there is only something wrong with the physical. So what is the harm, I say, what is the harm to become more conscious of what am I thinking right now? Healthy thought, non-healthy, giving me anything, harming me. So throughout the day, 24/7, can I just be this vigilant guard and keep a check on my being? So then at the end of the day, you would at least get to know, okay, nothing wrong with mind and feelings, must be something purely physical. That is also a possibility. But I think that would just cover, even if there is anything coming from the mind and the feelings, this alertness towards my own self, which will also cover up and take care of purifying the mind and feelings if there is anything garbad ghotala going on there. Yeah. And if purely physical, that too I'll get to know. So
Yeah,
no harm.
thank you. I mean, definitely not in the camp of it's just physical in terms of, being aware of my own thoughts and feelings. So definitely not there. So yeah, but thank you. That does put a answers my question, puts a perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks to you. Yeah. Anyone else? Any last reflections? One thing which I want to share, and then we can close. One thing which cancer really gave me was this alertness, because I felt that cancer was something like a noose hanging over my head. Like, people ask me that, are you sure you're over through with cancer? Are you sure it's not just remission and maybe it comes up again? Of course, it can come up again. Who knows? Who knows? So now it gives me a chance that since I've gotten this ability to look at now my mind and take care of my feelings and keep it clean, neat, and tidy, the moment there is a burden rising up in my being, something in me becomes conscious of it. And I ask myself, reminding myself of my illness, I ask myself, if I were to die, for example, today, would I still carry what I am carrying in my head? And the answer most of the times is no. So immediately I drop it off. So facing death or facing an illness, I think it's a very good kind of a memory or reminder for us that life is, we don't know how long our life is. Do I still want to carry this burden? So being so kind and loving towards ourselves, valuing, honoring ourselves so much that no, I don't want to carry this burden. I want to keep it light. And you let it off, you shrug it off your shoulders. No matter how big that situation may appear socially. Yeah, yes, Shamlaji. Yes. So good reminder to have to be conscious of that fragility of our this body, which can go away in a moment. And what are we burdening ourselves with so much? Kabirji says that we are burdening ourselves like a paper boat. He says this paper boat, that fragile. How fragile is a paper boat? A moment in water and then dissolves in water. So he says you are burdening your paper boat with tons of iron. That's what we do. That's the torture we do with ourselves. And we have to be so kind, so loving to ourselves that no, not now that I know, not for even a moment I want to trouble myself with this stacks of iron. Not worth it, not worth it. So keeping the mind centered around a divine name, or bringing the mind home in the body, keeping it very light, simple, as much as possible. Things will still come up and again resurface for cleansing, but as much as possible to cultivate and make it this my day-to-day habit, just like I brush my teeth or breathe every day. That kind of habit it has to become. That value and honor and dignity I have to give to myself. Then things begin to change slowly with practice. Yes. So I think today maybe we can end here, and thank you everyone for so patiently listening, absorbing, and sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.